Hello YouTubers, and welcome back to Workout Wednesday. Today I want to discuss with you something that can be a workout but could also be a kind of warm-up or a therapeutic based exercise to do. What am I talking about? The scapular retraction. So being able to pull your shoulder into its socket without bending the elbow. A lot of times we have a very hard time, a lot of times we have difficulty, or I have found that a lot of people have difficulty with that motor pattern. It seems to be more of a neurological thing, your body's computer system, so to speak, can't grasp the fact that you can't do this with resistance, that you can also do this, right? So, I have to bend my arm when I pull. No, you can actually pull with the muscles that surround your shoulder. What that does is create a more stable shoulder joint itself. So, I'll go ahead and show you. Let's get right into this. So I have a kind of a thick band. It's not really thick. It's a little bit thicker than my finger. Not the same thickness as I use for some of my other big stretches for the hips, but it works. I'm clipping it onto a carabiner, and you can get a wall anchor for, say, like a suspension trainer such as a TRX, and use that, or with regular resistance tube bands like I use in here. Just clip it right on, shut it in the doorway, and you have yourself a great anchor point. You want to get some tension in the band so that it's able to pull the shoulder out and away, right? So your shoulder's kind of big stretch here. Now, without bending your elbow, you want to bring your free hand over the elbow to start with, and that way it'll remind you to not bend the elbow while you're doing this. So you're keeping the hand on the elbow, and then you're pulling your shoulder in, right? Let it pull back out, and then pulling that shoulder in. I'll take my hand away so you can see I'm not bending my elbow. And that's the hardest thing to learn when you start this, is to not bend the elbow and really focus on pulling that shoulder in. I'll show you on the other side. So again, I have my feet square against the wall. I know you can't see my feet, but they're mimicking the hips. The hips and the feet are facing my anchor point, right? I'm going to let it pull my shoulder out, and then I'm going to pull it in. And you can see how I'm a little bit of an angle, like my body's a little bit leaned back, and that way I don't get pulled forward by the band. Again, pulling my shoulder back, letting it pull away from me, and then pulling it back in. That's what it looks like with the hand over the elbow. Now, another way that you can do this with an overhead is to hang on a bar and pull down. But that takes a little bit more grip strength. You need to have a little more forearm and hand strength to do that. So this is a really good way to work on that. Overhead. So all you're doing is changing the way in which you're standing. So you just sit your hips back, and now you have it overhead. You can pull it in. I need a little more tension. I'm going to scoot back a little bit, pulling my shoulder in and back out. In and back out. Not as much movement as the one where you're standing up tall, but you get the idea. I would definitely recommend doing in front of you first so you get a good idea, because this one's a little bit harder to engage and work. You're going to have a much harder time keeping that elbow straight doing the overhead than you will here. So that pretty much covers it. If you're having shoulder problems, if you have instability in your shoulders, this is a great thing to work on. When you have the freedom of movement and better control of your muscles that surround the shoulder and the shoulder blade, your scapula, you will have a world of a better time doing whatever it is that you love to do, because those shoulders will be stronger, more stable, and more mobile, surprisingly, right? I hope that you have gained a little bit from this video. Check me out if you'd like to on the other social media platforms that I have links down below. And I look forward to talking to you all next time. Until then, keep going and keep growing. Peace.